In this video, I want to show you how easy it is to use the collaborative features of Storied to work with others to put together a recipe book without hassle, with a lot of emailing back and forth or spreadsheets. And you can do that using the groups functionality. Now you'll already see in my feed here that I've added a few recipes. We support recipe stories, and I'll be showing you that functionality in a little bit. But now we want to collect those up into a book. I haven't created a recipe book yet. I have a memory book, but I'll show you that process as well. But in this particular case, I want to start by showing you about collaboration on the Storied platform. And that happens using groups. On the left-hand navigation, there's a groups item, and by clicking the arrow, I can expand and see my groups. I don't have any yet, so I can create a group. Now, in order to create a group, you do need to have a Storied subscription. You will be considered the sponsor of a group that you create, and the sponsor needs to be a subscriber to Storied. The other participants in the group do not need to be subscribers. They can be invited and join and sign up for free without paying at all to contribute to your project. So in this case, I'm going to create a book that's specifically for a Roots Tech 2026 recipe book. And optionally, I can put in a description. And also there's an address that gets created for this group, which I'm just going to leave as is. In the next step, you're asked to select a tree to share with a group. And of course, very often, family recipes are associated with particular family members, and we want to be able to credit them or tag them in these stories. So I'm going to share the particular tree that I created for this test. And now we come to our invitations. Here you can invite people simply by putting in their email address. They will receive an email with this invitation message, which you can customize. So I will actually customize this and say, come join in the fun of gathering our favorite recipes, if I can type here, for Roots Tech. And then I will simply invite my own self, and I will use my email address here to invite myself. Oh, I forgot the .com. There we go. And once I do that, now the next button is enabled. Now what will happen is that I will receive an email at that email address, and I'm not going to show the email address, but what you can see now is that this group has been created, and you can see that it's currently empty. And if I go to the members tab, you can see that my test account here is the sponsor, and that there's a pending invitation for my actual real account. But there's nothing else in here. There are no stories or anything. Now you saw on my home feed that I had already added some recipes, and I can easily add some stories in here. I can add a new story by clicking here, or I can go and add those stories to the group. And the way that I do that is by going back to my stories. Actually, I'll click on my stories and find the stories that I want to add. So here I have a few, and I will go into those stories and click on the story. Once I'm in the story, I can click on the menu, three-dot menu over here, and choose Edit Story. And I don't need to make any changes to the content of the story. I'll just click Next. But notice now that I can publish to a group, and I'm going to select the Roots Tech 2026 recipe book group and click Done. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for these other stories as well, so that they show up in the group. Just click Next and share with the group. And with these other two, and then I will also do a demo of adding a new recipe and some techniques that I think are really handy, especially given the fact that many traditional handed down recipes are often handwritten on cards. They may be stained, and transcribing them is not necessarily always the easiest thing. So I will show you the process that I would recommend with the power of AI and ChatGPT. Now, first, let's go back and take a look at that group. If I expand over here, I can go navigate back to that group. And now you can see that those stories have now been shared with the group. And if I click on Scrapbook, I will also see the various images of people in the tree or the recipes that I've shared with this group. Now, I'm going to log out of this account, and I'm going to log into my main account so that you can see the acceptance flow for joining the group. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in here with my saved password. Okay, so now I have signed into my main account. And if I open up my groups over here, you can see that I have group invites that show up. And if I click on group invites, and by the way, this will also happen when I get an email that would actually take me straight into this page where I can get a little bit of a preview of what's in the group and see who invited me to the group and choose join group. And now that I've joined the group, I can also add additional stories to this group. So if I go to my stories, let me see if I can find one that makes sense here. I don't actually have one, so I'll just go ahead and add a story here. And this is where I'll show you the process that I recommend for transcribing existing recipes. And so I've got ChatGPT open here. And what I will do here is I've got a prompt that works well and that I'll paste in here. And I'll just say, I'm going to paste in some images that are recipe cards. For each one, please provide the following information: recipe name, ingredients. I'll add some hard returns here so that it's a little clearer for it. Recipe name, ingredients, and I give it some examples of the formatting that I would like, and then directions, and again some examples, and then finally, if available, number of servings. And of course, I can always add and edit things myself. So I will go ahead and submit this request. And so it says, okay, go ahead and paste the recipe card images whenever you're ready. So I will just say add photos and files, and I will go pick one. Let's say, oh, this one looks good, steamed suet pudding. And I will upload that image. And now ChatGPT is analyzing the image and will pull the information. And you'll notice that it gives me the title, the ingredients, the directions, and so on. Directions are for a few things. It notices that there are no servings listed. But this is very easy for me now to just copy and paste. So I'm going to copy this over. I've clicked on Add Story over on Storied. And from this drop down, I can choose Family Recipe. And so here's my recipe name that I copied. And then I can just quickly go over here and copy the ingredients. And I'll just copy everything like this. And I will paste it into the ingredients. And notice that we take care of formatting with bullet points, with fractions that are formatted nicely, and so on. And then here, the directions, I will copy these directions all the way here, and I will paste those in here. And then I actually don't want this to be bold, so I'll just select it and I'll unbold it. The sauce, that's fine for that to be bold. I'll add a little return there, and we'll say cream all sauce ingredients together. So here we have our sauce. So in fact, actually looking at this, I will just grab these because they actually belong to the sauce, and I will copy this or cut this and paste it up in here. Like so. There we go. Okay, so now I have my ingredients for the sauce. I'll add an extra return in there. There we go. Okay. Now I am going to add that same image that I just scanned in with ChatGPT. And now I have my recipe, family recipe, and I will click next. This is where now you can say, whose recipe is this? And I will go ahead and put in my grandmother. And I will choose her from the tree. And I will click next. And then choose what group to publish it to. And you'll see that I can publish to this Roots Tech 2026 recipe book. I'm going to keep this one private, but publish it to the group. Now that I've joined the group, I can do that from this account. And then I'm done. Now my story has been added. If I go to the group that I belong to now, then we can see that that has been added. And I'm going to switch back to my other account, the test account that actually created the group. And I will go back to the group and show you the membership so that I can see that my invitee joined the group. I see the story that was added, and you notice that we credit who published the story with their name and icon. And if I go to members, I can now see that my other account has been added to the group. And so now I have the stories. And if I want to then go put them into a book, that's actually really straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and start a book. And when I do this, there are templates. And one of them is a recipe template. And so I'm going to go ahead and choose the recipe template. I will add a title, which is Roots Tech Recipes 2026. I'll choose a nice bold color. I'm not going to choose an image. I'm not going to include my family tree here, but I will go ahead and continue. Now notice that there are no stories yet. There are no recipes in this book, but I can choose add recipe, and I can say add recipes from my groups. And so now here we can see all of these recipes that have been added, some by me, some by collaborators, contributors, and I can choose all of them. I can say done. I can change the order of them. So I want to do Sloppy Joe up front, and then I want the Butterballs at the end. And this allows me then to easily collaborate with multiple people. The contributors are again credited here in the book, and this makes it quite easy for all of the people to join together, each in their own account. Again, only the sponsor needs to have a subscription. All of the other members of the group who are contributing stories can do so for free. And that should make it very easy.